What's up, guys? Hazyams here. Got another review video for you. We're gonna be talking about Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age. I had a ton of fun with this game. Honestly, probably one of my top favorite Final Fantasy games that I've played. And I have, let's see, 51 and a half hours playtime. Got Wings of My Own, which is the last achievement for beating the game. I'm kind of surprised only 15% of people have beat the game, but I can kind of see why. The last sequence in the game, like the final battle, a little kind of like a gauntlet, so I can see some people maybe getting a little frustrated there with that, but I was a little over leveled, I think, when we got to there. But anyways, 50 hours in the game. My party got up to level 55. Had a ton of the license boards filled out, and really loved this game. I want to jump in. I kind of want to jump into the game real quick. Hopefully it launches and it doesn't launch with the debug. But if it does, then I guess I want to do this. Let's go here. Okay. So I just wanted to have to get my controller on to do this. I just wanted to jump in here and talk about kind of the progression system, like when you level up and you see like the license boards. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a very cool system they had. Maybe I can't even fucking get there. Okay. So you can pick. You start off as one class, and then you can pick, you pick one class and you pick another class later on in the game. So you kind of have two license boards. So this is the Shikari license board, and then you spend your LP points, which are up there in the top of the left, that you can kind of see, on different nodes on the board. So like the nodes you see that have the sword will give you the ability to equip certain weapons, and then the hat with the feather is certain armors. You also see the shields. There's certain shields you can equip. The rings are certain accessories. The 215 ribbon there is the ribbon. And then some more weapons there in the corners. And then each one of these symbols, like this symbol here, does like an increase, so like magic potency, or reduce action time, or gives you more health, or potions restore more HP, potions restore more HP. Here's some more example: increase max HP, increase physical attack damage. And then you can switch, you can switch to the other board, Foebreaker, and they have different armors and shields and weapons that I can unlock and be able to equip. So I thought it was a pretty cool system. I really enjoyed leveling, and if you do decide to play this game, I would for sure walk everywhere. The reason I say that is you get license points from battles, so the more battles you encounter and take part in, the more license points you get, which allows you to unlock more things in your different classes and in your different license boards. So I encourage you to walk over taking chocobos, just because I think you'll have a better experience and it will help you to stay leveled ahead of your enemies, which is always beneficial. But yeah, that was just wanted to show that real quick. But let's get into the review and we will talk about graphics starting out. I'll just have some gameplay in the background. Excuse me. Battling a little bit of a cold. Alright. So graphics, guys, obviously the game is dated. It is an older Final Fantasy game. But in my personal opinion, I do think it looks better than Final Fantasy XIII, a game that came out after it. With the exception of, I think the cutscenes in Final Fantasy XIII look better than Final Fantasy XII. But as far as the world, the characters, the monsters, the items, the weapons, the spells, pretty much every other aspect, I think Final Fantasy XII graphically looks better than 13. So, I mean, graphics, I give a 9 out of 10. I think that the weapons all looked very well done, man. The weapon models were so good, man. They just looked so good. The shields and the swords looked really good. I loved finding different weapons and shields to equip to see kind of what they looked like and what artistic style they went with. And it was some of the better weapons and shields that I've seen, honestly, in a Final Fantasy game. Like, I mean, can we go back a little bit here? I don't know, I just think the weapons look really good. And I honestly think that the weapon models look comparable to, or if not better than, Final Fantasy XIII's. I'm trying to get you some more weapon models here. Like shields, I don't know. I just think they look pretty good. But here, I'll let this just play. This is a boss I fought pretty early on. I kicked my ass for a while, actually. But yeah, graphics, man, 9 out of 10, easy. Everything was solid. Everything looked really good. Sound and music, I also give a 9 out of 10. I thought the battle music was great. The story music was great. Just top-notch voice acting all around. Didn't have an issue with any of the characters that were voice acted. They're pretty typical Final Fantasy games, or most Final Fantasy games, where the music and voice acting is really good. Spells sounded good. Weapons, like the swords and axes and maces hitting the enemies, sounded good. Everything was just really good, man. Enjoyed the music, man. Great Final Fantasy music. Sound and music, easily 9 out of 10. Character story, as usual, I try not to go too much into this because I don't want to spoil too much. Characters and story, I give a 9 out of 10, guys. Like I said, this is probably one of my top Final Fantasy games that I've played. I put it up there with 7 and put it up there with 10. I put it up there with Final Fantasy 9. Final Fantasy 12 was just a lot of fun, man. The story was great. Characters are good. I enjoyed all the characters and enjoyed learning about the characters' backstories that they went into. The conflict in the story was good. The good versus evil was a constant back and forth struggle within the party of heroes, even, man. But even within the party of heroes, there was a struggle of, should I do the evil thing or should I do the good thing, you know? So it was really, really well done. Characters and stories, 9 out of 10. Gameplay, also, man, just, I feel like they knocked it out of the park. I really enjoyed it. Yes, it did become repetitive towards the end, but I did really enjoy the combat. And that's crazy because I ran mostly a melee-based party, and we destroyed things, man. And it was still fun, you know. You think, oh, that's boring, man, but it was still fun playing a melee-based party. Very solid gameplay loop. Had fun exploring the world. Thought the world was fun to run around in. The skyboxes looked really good. The backdrops looked really good in the distance. some of the zones were just beautiful. And I think most of the zones, I would say, were more enjoyable to run around in than the zones in Final Fantasy 13. And that might be a hot take, but Final Fantasy 12 zones were just better than 13's. One of my favorite combat systems in Final Fantasy is a live combat system. So yes, you do kind of take turns with the action bar going, but to me, this is still a live combat system, where you're not just standing in place and you can move around while you're attacking. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, gameplay 8.5 out of 10, maybe even a 9 out of 10, honestly. So as always, we got to talk about bugs and cons. This game ran great, didn't crash or anything like that, but there is a problem. And I don't really know what to tell you the problem is, but people get a weird bug to where after you've launched the game so many times that it won't launch your save file again. And the fix for me was doing a clean install of my graphics driver, and then I could launch the game again. But other people had different fixes to get the game to launch again. This was just my fix. So if you do run into that, just know that there is a fix. It is annoying, but there is a workaround. Don't give up, because it is a great game to experience and play. You know, and maybe if you have it on console, you go that route and you play it on console instead of trying to play it on Steam. Replayability, there is a new game plus after you beat it if you want to go back through and play. I probably won't. Not at this time, at least maybe way in the future. That might happen at some point. But as usual, we're going to go on the shelf, collect some dust, and we'll move on to the next one. Next review will probably be Diablo 4. It's Diablo 4's season that they're running right now. And then I got to figure out what my next game is I'm going to play and try to beat and review. I might play a kind of obscure Final Fantasy game that's kind of weird that's even on Steam. It's Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. I believe that game was originally released on PSP. So I don't even know. It might even be just a headache in general to even get the thing to run if it's a port straight from PSP to PC. So we'll have to see. There are some other Final Fantasy games, but if I do a Final Fantasy, it's going to be a more modern graphical one, which there are a few out there. So, you know, looking at 14 and a couple other titles before I dive into, like, say, a Final Fantasy X, which is more old school. Well, that is all I have for you guys. Let me know what you think of Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age if you've played it. I freaking loved the game, guys. Thought it was just a phenomenal experience. But thank you for stopping by. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Have a good day or night wherever you're in the world. And we will see you on the next one.